Hello, my name is David Adams, and I'm going to talk about the first 4 chapters of Kress's Literacy in the New Media Age. Now, as the book gets very dense in the later chapters, I've been asked to keep my comments short. Before we begin, it will help to understand the environment in which the book was written. First published in 2002, Kress's world had survived the September that never ended, Friendster had yet to be eclipsed by MySpace, and that Facebook was still a year away. Borders Bookstore was still a viable commercial enterprise. It is without exaggeration that I say that the first 4 chapters are the introduction of necessary concepts for the rest of the book. As the world had begun to transition from the page or the book to the screen as the primary medium of communication, Kress reminds us that this change had the effect of democratizing publishing and made inclusion of modes other than the written word economical. As these modes came into use, people began to realize that each had its own unique affordances. Consider the phrase, "the sun rose above the mountains." Thanks to our familiarity with the English language, this carries a clear meaning. Now look at the picture. Ostensibly, the message sent is the same, but do you receive the same message? As Kress states, the logic of the written word is temporal. The sun rose above the mountains. The logic of the image is spatial. The vastness of the scene is clear. While never wholly stable, the written word, let's consider English, has been in use and follows standards in order to make communication and interpretation clear. Other modes also lend themselves to specific forms of use. Of course, the proper usage wasn't obvious at first. In the age of the screen, it's easy to use a new mode, but to understand its form, that's something you have to learn. As we grow comfortable with the use of new modes for communication, we have to ask how this affects the idea of literacy. First, it's important to realize that the word literacy is not universal. While it seems, as a concept, to be ubiquitous, many non-English languages do not include an equivalent word to literacy. Rather than universal, it is a concept given meaning by agreement and convention in the English-speaking world. Far from natural, it is a useful construct. As such, it can be defined and perhaps changed. For the purposes of this book, however, Kress tightly defines literacy as the act of making messages, using letters as the means of recording those messages. So what about the other modes? The definition of literacy fails to encompass the growing changes in communication. With the ease of incorporating new media modes into communication, people are able to change and enhance their communications in order to better communicate the message or take advantage of the affordances of the medium. So how do we consider this new communication? Kress suggests we turn to the science of semiotics, the study of signs and symbols for transmitting or interpreting meaning. By considering semiotics, we can look at multiple modes within a single message or medium. We can consider how one mode affects and is affected by another. We have a lens under which we can consider communication dominated by the screen. The world changed, and a semiotics mindset gives us a guide to find our new literacies.